Hello, I'm Steve Coombs, and over the next few minutes I'll be showing you how you can integrate your doors data with the RIF standard. And for this we'll be using the integrator. Now the purpose of this integration is normally for organisations that use doors but need to share that information with their third-party suppliers or subcontractors, or maybe further upstream within their project environment. So let's have a look at the integrator and what it can offer. So it's more than just a product, it's a whole framework that can integrate several different applications with each other. But it's very extendable, so the tools that you see listed can be extended quite easily to include other products that you might be using. It's very flexible, you're in control of how the data starts and how the data behave when it gets into your target application. And it can be used for migration purposes, but also a one-way synchronization and bi-directional synchronization should you need one of those models. And everything it does, it uses the RIF standard as the translation format. So if you're moving from, for example, Teamcenter Systems Engineering to Teamcenter PLM, it will go via the RIF standard, which makes it a very flexible and strong solution. So how does the product work? Well, we have our core integrator application that manages all the relationships between the tools. And you can now choose a source and a target product. For example, the Siemens Teamcenter PLM could be your source or your target, and data exchanges between that product to and from the integrator. You can then integrate this with the T-Plan verification tool, or maybe different UML tools, RIF standards, the QPAC ALM product set, Siemens Teamcenter Systems Engineering, or doors. It doesn't matter what of these products is your source and what is your target. All of these products now integrate fully with each other because they go via the integrator core application. For this presentation we'll be concentrating on the RIF and the IBM Rational Doors integration. So as we progress through this, we'll be able to see how you can connect to the doors instance, how you can choose the data that you wish to bring out of doors, the different target types and the options that exist with them, how you can map the different types, the attributes that you wish to pull out of doors, and at the end we'll look at how you can manage to change on a regular basis. Okay, so let's first have a look at how we can do this. Now this screen you can see is the integrator main screen, and this will list all the different configurations that you create. What we'll do now is we'll create a new configuration, and this is linking a source product to a target. The first screen you see here is the source product selection screen, and this will have several different applications that you can choose from to start your integration. We'll choose doors. You need to log into doors, and whilst this loads you do need a doors license to be able to run this, and it also takes into account the different permissions that doors user actually has. So what it's going to be doing is scanning your doors environment and returning a hierarchy, an integrator hierarchy of the different projects and structures that you've got. And you can select these to be the basis of your export. For example, we could choose an entire project, or we can navigate further and choose folders. And what I'll do, I'll choose just an individual module here that we'll bring across. So once we've chosen the data we want, we can set some options around this. Now, you can choose the history to search through different baselines, or export from a specific view that you use within doors, look at the data formats, use a specific baseline to bring data out of, and choose whether to export images or leave them there, and also in what direction you want the links to carry on. And we'll just leave these as default. So we've chosen where the data is coming from. We now need to select a target application and choose where the data is going. What we'll do, we'll save this as a RIF file. So the first thing we need to do is choose a location and provide a template name, and we can save this. What we can now do is start to choose the objects that we want to bring out. Now the first screen is your type mapper, and all these objects listed are the ones that exist within your doors structures. So folders, headings, modules, requirements, links, tables if necessary. The best thing to do if you're exporting to RIF is to highlight everything and then select create. and what this will do, it will create corresponding objects if they exist within your RIF file. So we can now look at the attributes that we might want to bring out of doors as well and choose the ones that we might need. For example, you can choose object text, which contains all the information, but you might also want to look at object identifiers from doors, and we've got a risk attribute here as well to bring those across. You can choose as many of these as you need to, and in the same way, because we're creating a RIF file, you need to create these attributes in that file as well. Now you can, with the type and the attribute mapping, if you want, you can save this configuration. So once you're happy with the mapping, you can save them and then you can just reuse that in future. But we're now complete, and we can just give this a name. And press the finish, and the integrator will now extract this information from doors and convert it into a RIF file for you. Now that RIF file can now be sent on to your suppliers or your subcontractors as they need to. And what we'll do, as we progress a little bit further, we can have a look at how you can manage change within this file as well. So you've now seen how you can pull the data from doors into a RIF format and how you can pass that on to other organisations. What we now need to do is have a look at how you can keep that information up to date and what then the changes should be sent through to your third-party suppliers or subcontractors. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can manage that change. The first thing I would do is open doors, and I'll make a few amendments to some objects. For example, I'll just quickly change one object here, and I can also add an object down here as well. We can delete objects as well and add multiple and amend obviously a lot of these objects. So if I just save this and close it down, and we can go back to the integrator. Now we choose the configuration that we'd already created, and there's a few options available for us. We could schedule this if we wanted, so it can run an update every day at a certain time, or we could just synchronize the data so it just navigates, analyzes and exports, or we can view the differences before we commit these. So what we're now presented with is the difference analyzer, and this now shows the snapshot of your doors data. It's not a live view. What it is, it shows the data as it was when you last exported it or when you incorporated some change into it. And what we can now do is analyze this snapshot against your doors environment by just right mouse clicking and doing a view change in doors. This will analyze and it will bring out to me any changes. So it's found one updated object and one created object, and you can use the tabs at the top to see these in a little more detail. So once we're happy with the changes, we can choose to import those changes. And what it will do, it'll extract them from doors again, and it will convert them and include them in our RIF file. And that RIF file can then be sent on to your subcontractor or whoever needs to see that data, and they can then import those changes into their system. Well, thank you for your time. I hope you found this demonstration useful on how you can share doors information with RIF. There are lots more integrations and videos that you can see that help you understand how the data can go to and from different applications. If you have any questions, please contact me. My email address is steve.coombs@asyrosystems.com. Thank you.